I had a call about some damage control beaver. You can see where they've chewed down this big old cottonwood and knocked it over across the ditch here. This is an irrigation ditch. They've been chewing down here on those sticks. I needed my little boat to get over here. It isn't very far. My pickup's just right there, but this ditch is really deep, and even though I only got to go, I don't know, 60, 70 feet, I can't get there any other way. Like this tree here, it's been chewed on, but it doesn't look real fresh. There's some chips down here, but they look like they were probably before the winter. Doesn't look like there's a lot of beaver in here, but they are causing some problems. They're going to turn the irrigation ditch on here pretty quick, and the sticks will wash down and cause them trouble. This spot here looks pretty good to me. It's shallow enough to put a trap in, probably 6 inches deep or so. These sticks here, these little trees, I can wire off to that, but they're still green, so you gotta be real careful doing that. Sometimes they'll chew that off and take off with your trap. So what I do is I try to go around at least 2 sticks, and I do it as close to the ground as I can. The way I do these, this is just an old pair of pants that had too many holes in it, so I cut off the pant leg and sewed it shut, and then you throw a bunch of rocks in there, like so, and wire the bag off to the trap, throw it into the ditch, and what happens is when they get caught, they head for deep water and they slide down the wire on a one-way slide, and that's the end of them. They can't pull the rocks back up out of the water. That was a big heavy trap too. When you wire this bag in place, I like to go through the canvas and then wrap it around. That way there's no possible way they can pull that out. Hey, Idaho hillbillies. What are these little fungus? Oh, mushroom of some sort. Back to this log. I don't know what these are. Never seen any like this before. Huh. Anyway, maybe you guys know. I doubt you can eat them. So. Okay, I'm going to chuck this out into the water and go from there. So I pounded this stake in here. I'm going to wire off to that. If you've never done this before, these slides, wish I'd brought a tripod. I'll have to hold this in my teeth. The way these work, you got to get them through the right direction. I have to go in through that way. That way when they come back, it kinks the wire and they can't come back. If you put it in this direction, they can't slide down. So, hopefully you can see that. It has to go this direction. Trap is set, it's wired off. What I like to do is take a little bit of water in your foot, just kind of splash this so it looks like something's been crawling in and out of the water. There we go. It doesn't look too bad. And get a little bit of Beaver Castor. Might need 2 hands here. Just a little glob. That's probably more than what I actually even need. Put that just in there like so. Here's a stick they've been chewing on. I'll throw that right there. Kind of help funnel them over. I'll just put a a stick just like that. Maybe since this one's handy, I'll throw it there too. Okay, so that trap's set. In my area here, the big stick houses that you think of when you think of beaver, they don't do that all that much here. What they will do is they'll burrow into the bank like that. And the entrance is usually underwater. That one is probably collapsed. If you look close here, none of these sticks and leaves and things are disturbed, so there hasn't been anything going in or out of that. If there is some right above it here. There is some beaver chewings, but if there is something going in and out of that hole, it's doing it under the water. It might have another entrance. So before I leave, I'll probably go check that out. But on the opposite side of this ditch, and like I say, it's deep, so I'm going to save that one and come back to it. Okay, here's trap number 2, and it's done the same exact way. Well, maybe there's too much glare on the water. You can kind of see a spring right there. There's the pan. Anyhow, it's there. I got Castor on a stick right there. It's wired off to this log right here. That's the big one here. Down to a sack of rocks down there. So, 2 traps in. I don't know, the rest I brought are conibears. There's a spot right here. I'm going to set one over there. There's kind of a trail coming down through the edge of the water. And you can see a lot of chewed on sticks right here. This dam here isn't much of a dam anymore. It's either overflowed, overflooded, or they're not in here anymore. They usually keep them up better than that. I might not catch anything at all. These conibear traps, if you've never been out around any this big, these 330s, they're kind of a dangerous trap. Your hand caught in one of these would really hurt. You really need setting tools for these. Some folks are able to set them without. I'm not one of them. The way I do them is to set both springs. Turn it so that the trigger and the dog are on the top, and I put them between my knees. That way if they fire, they don't really get you. Make sure you leave the safety hooks on. Well, okay, so let's go get this set. Most guys put the trigger toward the upside. I like it on the bottom. You're going to cut that open anyway. Sometimes that trigger will mess up the hair a little bit. For summer trapping like this, spring trapping, that's not as critical. So that's all there is to that. That's what the beaver sees. I like to put my sticks through the spring itself and not through the eye, because that way, this one I didn't get right. This one I did. It holds it this way, keeps it from tipping over, and just sort of supports it a little bit better. Those little trigger wires underneath like that, they're not very noticeable at all. And like I said, when it snaps, sometimes the dog will do damage to the pelt. Spring trapping like this, where season's over and it's damage control work, it's not so important, but you're going to cut the belly up anyway, you know. So if there's a hole or a spot where the hairs come out because of that dog, it's not going to matter underneath. So I don't put them on top. Most people do. So anyway, that one's done. I think I will, just because I have it, I think I will put a little dab of Castor back here someplace. Okay, here's something to look for when you're beaver trapping. See this little pile of mud and grass? Been kind of, oops, too far. Been kind of drug up onto the bank. What that is what they call a Castor mound. There's a little bit of sand down here that they've drug up, sandy mud from the bottom. What they do is they pile up this mud and whatnot on the edge of the creek and deposit their Castor on there. And what that is a territory marking to tell other beaver that are in the area, this is my spot, stay out of here. And it's a perfect spot for a trap. You put your own Castor there. I've got it right here on this stick. You put a little bit of another beaver's Castor there, and they think somebody's moved into their territory, and it makes them really upset, and they'll come and check it out just about every time. Here's that other Castor mound. This is what they look like. It's just a pile of mud up on the bank, usually right on the edge. Not much to look at. It's just like somebody's taken a shovelful or two of dirt out of the bottom and tossed it up on the shore. But anyway, next time I come, I'll put a trap right there too. That's a good spot. They've been plugging it up right down here where it goes back into the river. We've got a dam across there, and what's going to happen here, I'm kind of under the gun. They're waiting on me to catch these so they can open that gate, but what that does, they open up that head gate and that goes down the ditch to several other ranches for irrigation water for the summer. If the beaver are still in here, what they do is they'll plug that culvert up and cause them all sorts of problems, and a lot of times down further down the ditch they'll try to dam it up because this water here is going to drop. And so anyway, they're waiting on me. I hope I can get them caught so that they can turn the water on. So anyway, what's that make? That's 1, 2, 3. I only got 5 traps out. I thought I brought more than that, but that's all that's in the boat, so I guess I didn't. There's more in the truck. I'll put them out either tomorrow or next time I come on up here. Well, what a pretty day. And well, look at the way the sun hits on those mountains. Ain't that, like I say, I never get tired of those mountains. I know I brag on them a lot, but there's good reason for that. Look at those things. Man, I love them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully next another day or two we'll have a beaver to show you. Adios.